What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. This is the Built from Pain podcast, and I have two exclusive guests, Austin and Jake Deraff, killing it in the real estate field. Yo, disrupting the whole game. What's up, guys? Welcome in.
Thank you for having us, man. Jose, thank you so much for allowing us on this podcast. We're really blessed, and you have the #1 podcast online right now, so we're excited to be on it.
That's awesome, brother.
Appreciate you, bro, for having us on here. Thank you.
Yeah, of course, man. So, I mean, hey, thank you guys for making the time, obviously, with this whole real estate thing, especially with what's happening. I'm sure that you guys are probably busy as hell, as am I. So I would like to start it off with maybe Austin, you could go first, and then Jake to maybe speak a little bit about what you guys are doing, who you guys are, you know, what areas you guys cover, and you know, what you guys are all about.
Awesome. Again, thanks so much, Jose. So basically, we are a wholesaling company based out of White Plains, New York, Westchester County, New York. Our main focus is flipping contracts or wholesaling properties. We do also buy buildings, and we do fix and flips, HGTV stuff, but our main bread and butter is wholesaling real estate. Quick background, we started from nothing, from Queens, New York. Shout out to Queens. Left there when we were young, moved up to upstate New York, Westchester County. When we were 20 years old, we dropped out of school, said, you know, this isn't for us. You know, we were getting C's and D's, and I was like, we can't make money with C's and D's. The guys want A's. So we dropped out of school. Jake put on my desk a course, said how to make money with real estate with no money. I'm like, all right, I have no money, I have no credit. Let me try this out. And it was basically a quick course on how to wholesale real estate. Once we got the course, we fully committed to it, and it took us a while. It took us, Jose, like 7 or 8 months to make a little bit of money. Everyone told us to quit. Parents said to go back to school. My mom was forcing me to go sign back up to college. She had my application like, all right, go sign, let's go. But we just didn't want to quit, so we kept going. We kept pushing through it, and we said, you know, there's a reason that we can't get a deal. God's given us a reason to be in this game. That He wants us to work. So we kept pushing, and finally we put one of those signs in the ground. We buy houses. Some lady called us. It was a hoarder lady. We went in her house. She had like this much stuff, garbage. And then we closed the deal, and like 45 days later, made $17,218, and the rest is history.
That was your first deal?
First deal, yep.
Awesome, Jake. Anything that you would like to add on to that?
Yeah, not much. I mean, look, you know, we're two, twin brothers that dropped out of school out of sophomore year of college. We really had not a lot going for ourselves. Like Austin said, we weren't great students. We didn't have a lot, like, a profession where we wanted to get into. So real estate really just made sense to us to say, hey, let's get into this. We see other people succeeding. We see other people winning. We know we're going to work hard. And, once we bought that course, and like Austin said, it said how to make money in real estate with no money down, no credit, no income. We said, that's right up our alley. We have none of that. So we might as well get into it. We hit the ground running. And like you said, after almost 8 months, we kind of closed that first deal. So that was exciting.
7 to 8 months. I got people hitting me up sometimes. Hey, it's been a couple weeks. It's only been 2 to 3 months. I don't have my first deal. You got to be patient. It sounds like you definitely have to persevere through it and make sure that, like you're saying, hitting the ground running and just learning as much as you can and applying as much as you can. Out of everything, though, I mean, it seems like you guys were moving around quite a lot. Why real estate out of everything? Why did you guys decide to go with real estate?
That's actually a good question. To be honest, we always were interested in real estate. We had a couple friends that fathers were in real estate. They always had money. They were always happy. Always had cars and vacations. And everyone that I knew had some type of money, had something to do with real estate, either rentals, apartment buildings, or some type of, even an agent per se, someone had to do something with real estate. So we just kind of knew from a young age that real estate, we had to be in real estate. We just didn't know which space. So we found wholesaling. We knew this was the way to go.
Nice. Okay, so you already kind of had some people that were in the game. You've seen that they were doing a lot of big things, and that kind of made you guys think, okay, well, real estate is the way to go. Real estate is basically a stream that you can really build, and you could take it to so many avenues, right? From wholesaling, flipping houses, buying and holdings. But one of the things that I actually wanted to talk about as well is, while you guys were transitioning, or even overall with your whole journey, what was the biggest obstacle that you guys came across? Like, what was the biggest obstacle you guys faced
Nick?
So, when you're starting a business at 20 years old, whether you're 20 years old, 22, 25, whatever, you're young. So you don't have a lot of income. You don't have credit. You don't have resources. You don't have people that that you can go, hey, can I get 100 grand? Hey, can I get 500 grand? You kind of have to start within yourself. So me and Austin started from day one with no resources, very little capital. And throughout our journey, we've consistently networked. We've consistently built relationships, and we've consistently gone in and day out and kind of done the job that we had to do to get to kind of where we want to go. But to answer your question, the biggest obstacle would probably be building a team, because you can't really do it by yourself. Finding those right people to build on your team, and then just getting a good network, getting that capital ready to get those deals down, making sure that you're getting the right deals and that you're making the right opportunities and you're doing the right thing in the real estate world.
Yeah, I was just speaking about actually delegating, because my boy Ronnie just actually got his transaction coordinator on board, or is working on getting his transaction coordinator on board.
Nice.
And I remember when you guys were helping me out with that, and you guys did actually help me out with that. You guys connected me with, what's her name, Carrie. And I'm still using the same transaction coordinator, so thank you guys for that. And
Nice,
Austin, anything you would like to add to that in terms of like obstacles or any challenges you think you guys faced that Jake didn't touch on?
Yeah, I mean, look, man, I think you probably have it as well because you're as young as us. The biggest obstacle when you're that young is the ability that you can believe you can do it. I think the biggest reason people don't do it is because they really deep down don't believe they can do it. A lot of people, it doesn't matter the age, even if they're 45, if they still don't believe they're going to do it, it doesn't even matter how many resources you have. If you don't believe you're going to do it first and fully commit, I don't think you're going to succeed. But one of the biggest obstacles, he was right, is really just a limited resource in terms of capital and in terms of maybe people backing us, supporting us. We had a lot of people that just didn't want to work with us, didn't believe in us. So a lot of like haters on our back. So we had to just brush that off, kind of isolate till we found out what we could do with it. And then once we fully got the momentum, then we were able to capitalize on it. But I think the biggest thing starting off was gaining momentum quickly, because it took 7 months. And probably Jake can say the same thing. During those 7 months, he probably wanted to quit. I wanted to quit. But we said ourselves, okay, what go back to school or real estate. So we just didn't want to go back to school and be a normal person. We wanted to live an extraordinary life. So we knew we had to keep pushing. So I think, again, the biggest thing was not getting momentum as quickly as we wanted. Like you just said, people want to get a deal done in 3 weeks. Unless you're Superman, it's probably not going to happen. Or you have a really good support system to start off with, which we didn't really have.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That was great. And another thing I wanted to ask you as well is, because that's actually one of the main things that I get as well, is like, well, I don't have any capital. How do I start in the game? And as you guys mentioned, that was one of your obstacles, not having that much capital, where you could just blow on anything. How did you guys overcome that specific thing? Like, how did you guys start with not having that much capital? Like, what would you say to somebody that's maybe encountering that specific wall or that specific obstacle?
So I would say that, if you don't have a lot of capital starting out, you're going to have to do things that other people are not going to want to do, whether that's putting up bandit signs yourself, whether that's cold calling by yourself and not hiring VAs or lead managers, whether that's, building relationships and going to events and trying to, find that private money lender, find a seller, whatever the case may be. So at the end of the day, it really just takes a little bit more work in the beginning when you don't have a lot of capital to kind of get that first deal. And then once you kind of close that first deal, you can slow down a little bit, reinvest some of the money you made from your first deal, maybe into some marketing, maybe into some delegation, whether you want to hire an assistant or a VA or whatever the case may be. But in the beginning, you got to do some things that people aren't willing to do.
Nice. And what do you say about that, Austin? You want to add on?
I think he's right. But one point he forgot to mention was there's two options. You can start up doing everything by yourself, which if I would have restarted over, I would have found someone who has money. I would connect it with them. We know how to find deals. So instead of making $5,000 or $10,000, $15,000 in a wholesale, I would have found someone who has money, took down the property and split it 50-50. They provided all the capital, and then you just legit find the deal and manage it, which isn't that hard. Finding the deal is the most hardest part. Manage it and then split the profits 50-50. Once you do a couple times with that guy, you tell the guy, listen, man, I'm on my own, and you start doing it yourself. But it's either you're going to put a lot of energy out and get 100% equity, or you find somebody who has already the capital or has something that you don't have, which is money, and just use that as leverage and give them some equity in the deal.
Beautiful, man. And what's the mindset? You know, I'm interested because I'm always talking about mindset, you know,
Yep.
and inner game. So what is the mindset going into this whole thing? Like what did you feel before, like even before getting involved in the whole thing, you know, during the process, like what's the mindset when you're actively going on the day-to-day business in the real estate field, wholesaling especially, and putting out these bandit signs, especially when you guys started? You know, I'm sure that it was a lot of hard work that you guys were committing, you know, physically going out there, going to the properties, door knocking, cold calling, whatever you guys were doing. What is the mindset behind doing all of that and not being satisfied with just getting one deal and just fucking saying, okay, finally I got this paycheck, and then just stop doing everything? Because I see that so many times in the real estate sales business, where a person gets one listing or two listings or three listings, and they maybe close on them, and they get, you know, they get some decent amount of money, but then the momentum just stopped because maybe there's not the proper mindset in place. Like, what's the mindset going into this whole thing overall?
So the mindset, it's the mindset, and it's also the goals. I think the reason if you do one deal and stop, it's because you don't have the right goals in place. You don't know what your exit strategy is. You don't know what your 3 or 5 year goals. Because if you knew what your 5 year goals are, it wouldn't allow you to stop after one deal. You have, first of all, they must have their own goals that they're doing that. But in terms of mindset, that's a great question. I think really, man, you got to keep telling yourself you're almost there. You're one deal away. You're 2 deals away. And you got to just keep pushing and pushing. And once you know your end game, your 5 year target, your 3 year target, it's going to consistently lead you to push harder and harder. And obviously, as you work harder, you're going to work smarter. And then once you start gaining some momentum, there's no reason to stop. So we just wanted to get momentum. That was our first goal. Once we had it, there's no reason to stop, because now we can use our capital, leverage other people as well, and really create a business. But I think the hardest part in the beginning with your mindset is just committing to it. Just knowing in the beginning, when you have 0 deals, you're just really one deal away from getting a belief of concept. When people have belief of concept, it's really easy to get to the next level because they already see you can do it.
Beautiful. Anything you want to add on to that, Jake?
Yeah, that was real. That was good. That was good.
Awesome. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. You know, that sums it up, because the main reason why, like you were saying, people don't have those goals. So if they're not having goals and they're not looking at a specific roadmap, or not even just a roadmap, but a destination, like, there's really no guidance as to when you should stop or when you're going to stop, or it's not like you're ever going to stop, but that momentum needs to pick up. And once you have that momentum, something that I experienced for myself is that it pretty much carries you. Like, you really do not want to stop, because you can't stop at that point, because now you're working with sellers, you're working with real people on the other side of the transactions. You got people you got to get back to. And, you know, you guys are a man of your word. So if you're telling somebody that you're going to call them or you're going to do something, and that momentum is already picked up because you guys been putting in the work, it's like you guys are not just going to want to stop after one deal, especially if you have goals written down and you guys are envisioning those goals every single day.
Yep.
Another thing, and this actually might be a little bit fun, and just for the people that are listening as well, what kind of horror stories do you guys have of, like, any crazy deals, like anything that was just ridiculous that you guys want to talk about? You guys can talk about anything you guys fucking want, literally. The craziest fucking deal you guys were ever messing with, nightmare deal. Maybe you guys ended up closing on it, maybe you didn't, whatever it is, if you guys want to share.
Jake?
Okay, I'll go with a deal we did probably about a year and a half ago. It was a property in Cortland Manor. It was a tax delinquent property, so the seller had no recollection of it, vacant, complete distress. So we made an offer of $150,000, and we got the deal. We locked it up. Now, we didn't really know what it was worth because it was such a big rehab, and there was so many variables. There was so many things going on, and this was one of our first 20 deals. So we were we were experienced, but, you know, we weren't experts. So we found out a way to list the property on the market and try to get more exposure. So after 6 offers, 6 different deals that fell through, one offer, the next offer, 6 offers fell through. That 7th offer, we were able to close the deal. The buyer obviously closed. Everybody got paid, and it was definitely one of the most hectic deals of our career. But it was one of the most profitable as well, because it was a 6-figure deal. but it was hell putting it together. But the day we got the closing table, it was just, everything was okay.
Beautiful. And how long did that one take?
To close, it must have took it, what, Austin, at least 5-6 months, 4 or 5 months?
It took a while.
Yeah, and it was a cash deal. Like, these buyers just kept falling through, and we just had to keep lining up a new buyer. And finally, this guy, Mark, closed. So shout out to Mark.
That's beautiful, man. And any other stories you have, Austin, about any other deal you want to talk about?
I have one deal, Jake. Joseph Fresco, Rockland, Spring Street. This is a funny deal. So before I tell you the deal, let me tell you the lesson. The lesson is this. Following up is the key. And quick little niche, anyone in the real estate game, if you know it's a deal and the clients stop answering you, or maybe you build a bad rapport with them, have somebody else in your team call them and act like a brand new company, because we end up doing that and we ended up making a lot of money. Let me run you through the deal. So it was a property we followed up for 1.5 years. I met the guy probably like in 2017, and he was in a real bad situation. And we followed up for like 1 year. Finally, we made him an offer. I actually went to his house, sat down, and presented him the offer. I was so excited. I'm like, yo, we're gonna lock this up. Right when I told him the number, he started going crazy, trying to call the police on me to get out of my house. Basically threw me out of his house. Said, I'm never gonna take that. I said, all right, no problem. So half a year went by. I was looking through the database. I'm like, I called our lead manager. I'm like, hey, Rose, call this guy. Let's see if we can save this deal. He hasn't sold it. He's in a real situation. He's actually behind on taxes. Let's get this deal locked up. So Rose is mad friendly. Jose, I've talked to Rose before. She's super cool. She's good on the phones. So she actually revived the deal. She spoke to the guy. He kept thinking that we were the same company, but Rose was like, no, we have our own company, whatever the case may be. I don't know what she did, but she ended up saving the deal, locking it up over the phone. And then one was locked up. The guy completely stopped answering for like 2 weeks. We're like, oh shit, we already had it sold. The guy stopped answering. Then we had to send him letters in the mail, do all this other stuff. I had somebody else go to his house and revive the deal again. So then we had the deal saved back again. And then finally, after like 2 months, we ended up closing the deal. But right before we got to the closing table, the buyer's attorney called us and said the deal's dead if you don't drop the price $5,000. So now I gotta get on the phone with the buyer's attorney, which I'm not supposed to be talking to. It's illegal. But the guy's calling me my cell phone, trying to negotiate for his client, saying we're gonna kill the whole deal. We know that the seller didn't even, I don't know, came up with some bullshit I don't even know what he was saying, but he ended up negotiating me with the deal. He actually won the negotiations, dropped me down $5,000, and we finally ended up closing. My dad had to take his limo and pick up the seller at the house, and he could not say anything about Austin or Jake because the seller could not know about us. So my dad, on the day of closing, went in his black car, picked up the seller, brought him to the closing, waited outside for 6 hours to close. Then he got back in his car and drove him home, and we got a nice check.
That's crazy, man. Waited 6 hours outside.
The closing took forever. Title issues, it was a shit show. Yeah, it was crazy.
That's fucking awesome, man. I bet you guys learned a lot from both of those deals.
Everything, dude. It's really a people's business. You learn how to network with different people, how to deal with older, younger, mid-age, African, white, black. You just learn a lot of real estate, how to deal with people, which is probably the most undervalued art you can have in life.
Yeah, I agree. And by the way, did you guys ever come across like, because this is another question I get a lot too, is people that are normally younger, like let's say they're 21, 22, 23 like us, and they want to start off with wholesaling. Sometimes I get a question of like, hey, I'm this age, like, does that matter? What do you say about people that are going into this industry that are young, that are worried about how old they are? Jake?
I would just say that's a mindset. That's a limiting belief. So like, I know it might seem like you're dealing with the seller negotiating it's, you seem like you're out of place, but if you know how to present yourself and you know what you're saying, if you become the expert, it don't matter how old you are, the seller will hear that in the way you speak. If you're not confident in yourself and you don't know what you're doing, yes, age might be a factor. But if you know how to present yourself and know how to carry yourself, they're going to be actually respected of you that you're so young and able to make these decisions on your own.
Beautiful. You want to add on anything to that, Jake?
Some of the tips we use sometimes, because we are young and a lot of our team members are young, is, we will say if we're going on an appointment, we work for the company and, the partners are making this offer and, we're just relaying that information to you. We're not the one making the offer. We're just here to get you your offer, figure out what type of situation you're in and try and help you out.
So kind of leveraging off the business, obviously, and leveraging off the partners, which is a great idea, you know, because it also gives you leverage in the meeting when discussing the numbers and everything. And
Exactly.
indirect in a way. So it definitely softens and smoothens out the communication between you guys. And
Yep.
would you say that like maybe communication and negotiation skills would be important in the real estate field? Like, do you guys think that sales or like communication in general is important?
It's very, very important. Without it, you probably won't be as successful as you would with it. So it's very, very crucial.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I'm sure that Austin knows that because he was cold calling in the early days,
Yep.
going and locking up those listings. I
Yep.
mean, what tips would you be able to give guys that are, you know, thinking about negotiating or cold calling over the phone? Like, would you say that maybe building that relationship would be something that they should focus on, or like when you're over the phone communicating with another client, what would you say is most important to communicate within each other?
So yeah, once on the phone and you really can't see them, especially if they're like a new person that you've never dealt with, the main thing is understanding what they're saying. Like, you might not know the whole picture, but you want to kind of have empathy, not sympathy. You don't want to feel bad for them, but you want to empathize and understand their situation, and you kind of articulate back to them what they're telling you. And once they know they're being heard, they kind of put their shoulders down. Like, once someone feels that they're being heard, they're going, okay, this guy's listening to me. I can trust him. And then from there, you're able to build a deeper relationship, which can lead to more value and an easier way to be able to close the deal with them, especially even over the phone.
Yeah. So if they like you, if they could connect with you, it's most likely going to be a lot easier to get in the door, number one, and lock up that deal, right?
Yep, exactly, 100%.
Beautiful. Now, any home run deals that you guys would like to talk about or like to share? Like maybe 2 home run deals that you guys did where you guys made a fucking killing on it that maybe you weren't expecting on it, maybe you were, but
Jake,
any home run deals you guys would like to share?
Proton?
Yeah, we'll talk about one of our first, it was actually our second deal. Austin was cold calling and he got a super big fish in Crow and Harmon. The seller was asking like, you know, 150,000. We go on Zillow and Zillow says like 425. We're like, what? We're like, what do we do? So like, you know, we give him a call, we go in person, make the offer. And, you know, we made that offer of 150. He accepted it. I actually didn't know too many buyers in the area. So I pitched it to one of my friends. His father was a flipper in the area. He walks in the house, he looks around and he goes, I'll give you 260 for it. We said, 260? We just did our first deal for 13,000. You're saying you're going to pay us $110,000? And he said, we can close in 3 weeks. And me and Austin accepted the offer that night and closed 3 weeks later. Easiest deal we've ever done, right, Off?
It was easy. He was a good buyer.
Wow. And it's funny how people think that the hardest deals are the ones that sometimes pay more, but it seems like this one went pretty fucking smooth.
Yep.
Very smooth, man.
Yeah.
Very smooth.
Any other deals that Austin you would like to share that was another home run deal?
Yep. There's actually, Jake should be sharing this, but I'm going to share it. So Jake Deraff actually locked this deal up at a pizza shop.
Oh, hold on a second. At a pizza shop.
100, should have been 150. We got a little screwed, but it was a $105,000 deal in a pizza shop. No marketing, no ad spend. So he met a guy at the pizza shop. He overheard a conversation. I don't know if it was the owner or his son about how they had a building and they wanted to sell it. So Jake had his business cards on him. He said, listen, I'm in real estate. We buy buildings. Let me connect with you. He got his information and he got Jake's. A couple weeks later, we kept following up with the guy every day, kept following up. Finally, we met his property manager at the property. We brought a couple of our investors with us. Then I negotiated with the property owner. We locked it up for $1.4 million. It was worth $2.1 million, and we ended up flipping it for about $1.6. Our partner made 100. We made about 100, 105, and it did take a while though. But it was a 9-unit building up in Westchester, and it was a good deal for everybody. So no marketing spend. Good. It was a good buyer, and it was a pretty good deal.
At a pizza shop. How did you come across that, Jake? Like, how did that conversation even start, man?
I'll tell you guys, it's called the reticular activating system. When you understand what that means and you can understand possibilities and opportunities can come to you versus you trying to come to them, that's when everything changes. So once I started acclimating myself into the real estate world, and I literally might have heard the word real estate or building or multifamily in the corner of my ear, and I look up and the guy's talking. So I actually was getting 2 large pepperoni pies for my staff, the rehabbers at our rehab down the street. So I just introduced myself. I said, we're rehabbing one of the houses down the street. Love your pizza. Me and my brother, we fix and flip properties. Started talking to the owner. He said, me and my brother used to do that as well. So I built the initial rapport right there. And then he said, my father's looking to sell it immediately. Give me your business card. And then Austin followed up. We went on the appointment, and it was, it was a great deal for everyone. It was awesome.
Dude, that's fucking amazing, bro.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, after doing that deal, I mean, shit, that was how long ago?
We closed probably about 7 months ago.
7-8 months ago, yep.
Wow. So, I mean, and you guys have scaled this business all the way till 7 figures. I mean, how big is the team right now?
So right now we have 2 full-time acquisitions, Alejandro and Tyler Levine. We have 1 full transaction coordinator handles the paperwork. We have a disposition manager, basically an asset manager who just sells all the properties, a junior asset manager, an in-house attorney. Me and Jake own it. And then we have two construction guys, 2 construction crews, a project manager, and a bunch of other minimal people that help us with some other things, marketing, stuff like that.
Would you guys say that like having a strong team is definitely crucial? Like having contractors on board, attorneys. And how do you even meet these guys? Like, how do you guys even started networking and meeting all these people? Because I met you guys on Craigslist. I remember that.
That's crazy. Wow. I didn't know that. I guess, Austin, you put that post up.
Yep. My combine.
Yeah.
Like you said, man, your network is your net worth. And if you're not networking, you're not growing your net worth. We actually met our full-time GC through a bandit sign. He called one of our signs. He said, I'd love to do some work for you guys. I said, I'm on my way to one of my houses right now. Meet me there in 30 minutes. He met me there. He was an awesome dude. And ever since I met him, we've been doing all of our rehabs with him. He's been an awesome asset to us on the construction side, a full-time project manager. And like Austin said, a lot of other people that do help us out.
Yeah. But having a team is the best because when you really understand the value of a team, it's not they're here to support you, and also they're here to leverage your time. Because if you're going to be running to Home Depot to grabbing this and going to the title company to do this, and so you're going to be losing so much time, which is money. So we try to put everyone in the right position. Once they're in the right position, we support them, make sure they're doing good, and then try to grow from there.
Beautiful, man. And are you guys still doing business the same now that you guys were before? Because I'm sure that you guys know that this question was going to come up with the whole COVID-19 situation and the pandemic.
Yep.
Has anything really changed for you guys, or how are you guys conducting business now that this whole thing is happening?
Jay, what was I?
So we are doing the same amount of business. We're doing a little bit less marketing, just to kind of smooth through this virus, because we don't know exactly how long this is going to be for. But we're doing a good amount of business consistently. We're spending less marketing dollars. We're still doing deals. Buyers are still putting down EMDs. We're still selling them. We're still getting them in contract. Our flips are selling. We just put one of our flips on the market today. Had 6 showings and should have a full asking offer coming in. And, the real estate market's doing pretty good. I mean, COVID has slowed us down with the initial contract to close. It's gone a little bit longer, but the process of itself, we've been consistent day in, day out.
Beautiful. Anything you want to add to that, Austin?
Yeah, I mean, the hardest part right now, if you're in real estate, is if the people that are living there, they're completely like, all right, don't come to my house, leave me alone, I don't want to see you. But we're targeting a lot of people that don't have extra houses, the vacant houses, some of them that are in a situation where they need to sell. So the people who are not selling are just not selling. Don't need to sell or not selling. People that need to sell, they're ready to go. So we're targeting vacant, absentee owners, landlords that maybe can't even afford the buildings anymore, stuff of that nature.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's what I figured. It was just gonna weed out the people that weren't really too motivated, and also with the whole change with jobs and stuff. I mean, there are some people that are most likely gonna need to sell now. Yep. Especially since they maybe can't afford their mortgage, or something has happened where they just have to move somewhere else. So yep. It's like we were talking about earlier, a lot of people have limiting beliefs, And when something like this happens, it gives them a perfect excuse on why they shouldn't get into something, or why they should maybe wait until this is over to do something. But the time is now, because the future may never come, right? The only thing that's real is right now. But
Man.
other than that, I mean, is there any other final key tips that you would like to share with anybody else that, that's watching this, that's getting into the wholesale business and is just looking to get maybe their first, second deal, or maybe they already closed a few deals, and they're just looking to keep scaling and keep continuing that momentum? Any 3-5 key tips that you guys can share with them?
Let's see. So, a couple key tips. So the first thing is, there's two options. If you want to get in this business, you can, do it on your own, and it might take some time, or you can leverage people like me or Jake or other buyers in the area, people who know what they're doing, gain some knowledge from them, and try to co-venture and do deals together. I'd rather get a deal done in a month with somebody else than do what we did and try to do it on our own and wait 7 months. So I think leveraging your network in the beginning and finding a lot of resources in the beginning is very important. Stay committed, meaning you're going to have to make low offers right now. You're going to have to work hard. Not everyone's going to say yes, but everyone that says no is just one step closer to a yes. And I'm going to say that again. Every single person that says no, even in your industry as an agent, every client that says no to you, you're just one step away from getting that next yes. So no's mean you're just closer to yes. You get the mindset right. And just the mindset tip is just, you got to learn, you got to fail first. So if you don't fail, you're not going to succeed. So be ready for failure. Don't be scared of failing, because if you don't fail, you're never going to get to the top. Anyone who made it anywhere in life, I don't care if they made $1 million or $1 billion, they're going to tell you that the moment they failed, their life changed because they were able to see a different perspective on it. So fail with an open mindset, learn from people who have what you want, and just, build up your resources and build your network up.
Yeah. Anything you want to add to that, Jake?
Made it pretty clear, man. You guys got to work hard, stay consistent, stay committed, grow your network, try to reach out, get out of your comfort zone a little bit. It's not easy to go knock on a random person's door. It's not easy to make a cold call, but once you start doing it on a consistent basis, you will build some familiarity to it, and you will become more accustomed to it, and it will get easier. Hell
yeah, brother. Well, hey, thank you guys for hopping on the podcast. I really appreciate you guys. Again, I met these guys on fucking Craigslist, man. I remember calling Austin. I was like, I want to say I was 19 at the time. I called Austin. I was like, hey, I seen this property. It was the property that you guys had in Tapan.
Naya. Yeah. Oh, Tapan. Yeah.
That was our first flip.
That was your first one, huh?
Yeah, first fix and flip. Yep.
That was the one. Yeah. So I remember calling Austin, and I was like, yo, I just want to take a look at the property. I actually went with my brother Kevin to take a look at it, if I remember correctly.
Oh, shit.
I called up Austin. I was like, yo, I want to take a look at it. He was like, text me your license information, text me shoot me a picture of your ID or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah.
That's so funny.
I ended up going to the property, and from there on we met officially at that other property you guys had in Nyack.
Yep.
That house that looked like a fucking tree just smashed right into it.
Tree falling, yeah.
We sold that.
Sold that.
So, and after that, it's been a while. It's been like 2 years since I've known you guys. We started connecting on the meetups that you guys were hosting, and you guys had a meetup in New York City, and then you also had a meetup in White Plains, and I'm sure that you guys are going to start doing some of that stuff when things start to get back to normal. Oh, and also what is it called? Closer University.
Yep.
What's up with that, man? Just real quick before we disconnect here.
Yeah, so it's called. We started a little group on Facebook called Closer University. Join it. Jose will share a link. Basically, if you're trying to get into real estate, you're trying to get into wholesaling, or you're trying to even buy wholesale deals, we started a group to teach you kind of how to do it. If you have any questions on how to negotiate, how to find the deal, any questions in terms of wholesaling, we started this free group just to provide value to people that maybe were in our shoes. That I wish that we had a group like this when we started, because it wouldn't have took us 7 months. So the question about attorneys, what offer to make, how much repairs does a house need, we can help them answer that very quickly. We have a support staff that can really answer their questions in terms of wholesaling and real estate. And we created to bring some value to people in the area.
Beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and put all that in the description down below. I'm going to put this on YouTube. I'm going to put it in the Built from Pain podcast as well. And guys, yeah, I mean, that's it. I think that's it for today. But man, I really appreciate you guys coming on the podcast. Anybody that is hearing this and wants to share it with a friend that maybe is thinking about joining real estate, Closer University, they built out already a Facebook group for you guys to be able to join and learn and be able to get your first few deals done. So definitely recommend following these guys on Instagram as well. Austin and Jake, really appreciate you guys coming on.
Thank you, sir.
Catch you on the next episode. We got to do another one, guys.
Hell yeah, we appreciate you, Jose. Anybody that's listening, shout out to, can you follow me at jake.deraff on Instagram. Appreciate you, Jose. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
absolutely. And Austin, you want to tag your Instagram as well?
The THE Austin Deraff, 2 A's and 2 F's. Again, 2 A's and 2 F's, not one, 2 of both, because we're special.
Awesome, guys. Well, hey, we'll do a next one. Let's see, maybe in the next few months, next few years, who knows? We'll be on yachts by then. So we'll
Let's go, baby.
Let's do it, baby. See you later, guys. Thank you.